Start enough waiting. We are ready to hop straight into this best of 5.
All right, well, as Atlas had said on Twitter before, are they going to be sinners or are they going to be saints? And we're going to take a look at who ends up on the honest side of a draft. But DragonX now banning Qiyana to open things up.
Qiyana, pick that we've been seeing more and more of coming in here. Didn't get banned a lot yesterday, but DragonX coming in here and laying down the law already with that ban.
Misfortune, now banned away by Afreeca. Oriana ends up biting the dust right now. And it's still a little bit hard to imagine what both teams might end up banning in their next ban, but Lucian obviously has been a pretty common ban here in the KeSPA Cup. So would expect that that'll probably be Afreeca's last ban, as Akali was next on the chopping block.
Yeah, red side pretty much is always Lucian, Akali, X. And Misfortune, a common third ban. Syndra, a common third ban. We saw a bunch of jungle targeting on red side for that third ban. We saw Lee Sin, Rek'Sai, Elise all banned out as the third ban. Rek'Sai actually twice from there, but I think they were more so targeting the T1 jungler yesterday. As Aurelia going to be taken away here. We all know what Aurelia can do. Haven't seen her for a while.
Well, at this point, Lucian does end up getting banned away. We'll see what DragonX's first champion is going to be. And Rai is being hovered. This is able to be flexed mid and top. But very short range mage, so can certainly be punished if Afreeca drafts long range defensive sort of scaling. But right now, out the gate, they're going to go with Varus as an immediate lock-in. So we're finally going to witness a different AD carry between the two teams here, as MF is banned, Varus is locked in for one. And Xayah now picked up. Will they just accompany her with Rakan?
We saw that a lot yesterday. Xayah Rakan, big favorite of T1. And apparently DragonX here in game number 1.
The camera right now hovered onto Fly. Will they just choose a mid laner here? No, they could just take Cassiopeia, but they're hovering Renekton. Spear of Sojourn has been removed from the game, and Renekton loses thematically against Xayah Rakan Rise. But you got to pair it with that Elise, because apparently the game is decided in the first 6 minutes. That is the logic that is going on here. So
yes,
back to the prehistoric times is the draft so far, as we move into the second ban phase.
I like it. It's very obvious, this kind of ban, or rather pick structure, you could say, what exactly they're going to do. Banning away the Tahm Kench. They don't want Varus Tahm Kench to come in here. There's always Varus Braum. Or Varus Nautilus. I mean, you know,
look, they have
all viable.
They're gonna ban Leona. All right, they're gonna either ban Leona or Nautilus, and then one of the three from the Holy Trinity will end up being picked on R4 by Afreeca. All right, don't get ahead of yourself now, Valdez.
If by Leona and Nautilus you mean Braum, then I agree.
Well, they might think that with the Leona and the Elise that it's just very obnoxious to play against. Likewise, I suppose even the Nautilus. So
Gangplank. Okay.
So Gangplank is banned away, but Rise eats Gangplank. And it's very unlikely that they would pick the GP to go up against Rise when DragonX just has flex priority. So that would also force the Renekton to go into mid lane, and it would make Elise and GP have to play with one another, and they're off theme with each other.
Yeah.
So it would be a very bizarre...
Braum.
There's Braum.
I hope it's the Christmas skin.
Quinn now being hovered, and this is a dual flex. Both Quinn and Rise are able to go mid and top. Mordekaiser now going to be the switch. We'll see if which one of them ends up getting locked in. Quinn probably a lot more flexible than Mord, but they might choose the Mordekaiser to try to stifle the mid game of Afreeca.
We saw no Rise yesterday, actually, from what I can remember. And it's interesting to see him come out here. The flexibility that he offers as a first pick is quite fantastic. Another pick that we saw a bit, and we see a bit of, kind of one of those edge junglers, is Jarvan, who does get locked in here.
And now on the side of Afreeca, they have to decide what they want to go up against, either Rise or Mordekaiser. Okay. And Vel'Koz is going to be locked in. So I was mentioning earlier that Fly is known for the more unorthodox champion picks. And right now it does look like Vel'Koz is going to be coming out for him, and we'll see how he can end up piloting this. Vel'Koz, one of the hardest mid lane champions in the entire game to play proficiently and actually make him work at pro play, but I'm a firm believer that if you can manage to do it, he's one of the best.
I mean, that's the draw of Vel'Koz, right? If you set everything up perfectly and you hit all of your insane skill shots, you're going to have a good time. If you can stay alive in a team fight and get that death ray off in the back and just zap people and do that true damage, you're going to have a good time. So I like the draw. I like how high of a skill cap the champion has. The question is, can it survive here on the pro stage against what DragonX has drafted? Afreeca, obvious connection with Renekton and Elise, but then they have Vel'Koz and Varus to go a bit later game. So I hope they have some ability to connect the dots on their side. Whereas Afreeca, or rather DragonX, definitely a bit more straightforward of a composition, but it looks like we're ready to go, guys, into game number one. Let's hop onto the Rift once again to see who will take game number one. DragonX fighting, Afreeca fighting.
That's really impressive. Valdez, those were some excellent fan cheers. The speed, it really felt like they were competing against one another. You know,
I tried to give them both a fair shot, right?
Yeah.
I didn't want to make anyone think that I was favoring either team, even a millimeter. And so I had to give them the exact same fan cheer.
Yeah, I mean, it certainly makes sense. So let's talk about what basically both teams are going to be trying to achieve here. So obviously, the Renekton and the Elise, they don't really need an introduction. They've been a meta mainstay for quite a while now, obviously extremely prevalent during Worlds. But the real focal point of the Afreeca team composition will end up coming down to the Vel'Koz and just how well can they protect Fly in the mid game to act as a moving turret, essentially. And on the flip side for DragonX, all they have to really do is get on top of the Vel'Koz, and if that ends up happening and he falls, the remaining 4 champions on each side, even if it ends up being a 1-for-1 in some way, just favors DragonX all across the board. The Mordekaiser scales so well against all of the champions on Afreeca that's not Vel'Koz. Rise, really good against everything that's not Vel'Koz. Jarvan, Xayah, Rakan, they're beating out everything else. So we're going to have to just pay attention to the mid game, see what ends up happening. But also, can Elise manage to accelerate either of the side lanes? Because if she can't, things are going to be a little bit unfortunate. First dragon of the game is Cloud Drake. So don't expect too much action to maybe go on around it, although I would say that it probably benefits the team comp with Mordekaiser a little bit more.
Absolutely. As we saw SKT in game number 1 of their contest yesterday get ahead with a Mordekaiser comp. It wasn't exactly like this, but they had the scaling, they had the ability to go into the late game, and then they kind of botched it with their engages in the late game and essentially handed over the game to the side of Sandbox. So looking forward to seeing if DragonX have a good understanding of the scaling within their composition and can play around that and not make too many mistakes, as yesterday was a weird and wonderful day, but I think we can both agree that it was full of mistakes on both sides that you may expect early on with the new rosters. Nice little ward to spot Spirit on his red, but Chovy, kind of awkward positioning here, trying to turn it onto the Spirit as he is going to flash away just at the end. Nice little job there, forcing another chug of the potion from Chovy. Forced to use his flash early on. Now Pyosik just going to say hello.
Pyosik just runs through mid, actually absorbs some of the XP away from Chovy, who, I mean, he's going to be recalling soon anyway, but Fly should be comfortable to stay here in the mid lane for a while. Picking up right-hand side, Scuttlecrab just giving the bot lane coverage to do what they want to do. Deft and Kyria, no stranger to just endlessly shoving. It's typically what they like to do, and right now, I mean, just a very large CS advantage is present down here in bot lane. Meanwhile, though, on top side, this top wave is slow pushing into Keen, and this can get very dicey. You can see Doran, he places the ward down. If there's one timing for him to die, it's right now. If Doran fades this gank, the top lane matchup just becomes a nightmare for Keen. Yeah, spotted. So
Pings come down, he knows.
If he still dies, it's a true testament to how poorly he must have played in order to die. So take a look if anything's gonna. This isn't real.
He really wanted that range minion, I suppose. He is gonna have to flash away from this one. At least he won't die, but he could have easily just gotten the XP and not gotten the 14 gold. I mean, definitely a bit of a mistake, but either way, is going to fade the gank in terms of not dying. And so that will be good for him. But we'll see exactly when Spirit wants to return to the top lane and how well Keen can freeze it. Keen is a wonderful top laner, one of the best, one of the elite four that we have here, and he has insane understanding of the lane and how to freeze it and how to manipulate it, and that's exactly what he's going to do. Even if Elise doesn't come top, he's going to put on the pressure as if she will, or just threaten it just in case.
Yeah, and I mean, the thing about this is that right now, you can even see he's threatening to freeze endlessly. He's pulling his wave in. Doran has to respect it more and more. You have Pyosik coming up here to allow Doran to have a little bit more freedom with trying to get this wave crash off, but Keen being very patient. Did not see Doran get his jungler up here in top lane, and that's going to be the crashed wave, and now Mordekaiser's going to be free to recall. Afreeca, in the meantime, actually going to pick up the Cloud Dragon first.
Yeah, and another engage down here on the bottom side. Just endless trading and pushing from the side of Deft and Kyria, as you were mentioning earlier on. And we saw in the match points, actually, I want to mention this, that both Chovy and we saw a lot of different names up there. Keen has played 7 different champions: Hecarim, Ryze, Lucian, Vladimir, Ornn, Camille, and Aatrox. And now he's playing his 8th unique champion today in the first game. It's going to be Renekton. Looking forward to seeing what will be the first repeat as TPs are coming in. Spirit looking to gank in the bottom lane. Maybe they pushed a bit too far. Deft is going to flash away, but he is so dead underneath that turret, not able to get up in the air, as it will be a double kill going to Mystic after the play in the bottom lane.
And so Mystic, they get 2 kills onto him. They're going to be able to also convert this into some turret plates down here as well. As meanwhile, DragonX, I mean, they're getting some waves up in top lane, and so it's not a total loss because you always have to factor, well, what is being lost on both sides. We're going to take a look at this. So you can see Keen recalling just so that he can channel his TP. They take it all the way. Spirit comes down. Renekton getting in there as well. They chain the cocoon onto Deft, and then Kyria falls shortly thereafter. But meanwhile, Mordekaiser got 2 waves and a turret plate on the Renekton, so you have to balance it in regards to what both parties lost. So big win for Afreeca on the bottom side of the map. Doran was able to get some stuff for himself on the top side. 3 minutes until a Mountain Dragon, which means that we're going to have a very exciting Dragon Soul this game.
Ooh, okay. It will be that Infernal or the Ocean Dragon Soul. A couple that, when you get them, it really does feel like the game sort of ends. It gets you a massive lead. And I'd love to see the stats as well for teams that do pick up Dragon Souls and the win percentage. I wouldn't even be surprised if it's 100% so far in the KeSPA Cup. If it's not 100, it's probably around 95. Maybe one game that some team kind of threw back to the enemy team after picking up the Dragon Soul. But it's an incredible buff, and I like the amount of fights it forces and action that it does force.
Yeah,
Big fan so far.
It really does feel like an objective that you can't ignore. Even Baron, sometimes you can basically say, hey, we can actually give this one up because we have such good wave clear that we can resist the Baron minions, or it's happening too early. I've never once in my experience seen a case where it's like, well, it's okay to give up that soul.
No, it really never is. Even the Cloud Soul, which seems to be the weakest so far here in the preseason, still, especially against certain comps, you give that up, it's not going to be a fun time. Big Engage coming in onto the Elise. Kind of hard to pull off. We got 3 members getting in there and using their ultimates, but nothing really landing as there's the Cocoon trying to turn it still onto Spirit, but the Rakan is so low, he's going to go down as the burst damage comes out from both Keen and Spirit once again to pick up a kill, this time for another carry on Fly. And yes, Doran is pushing the top lane and picking up plates, but the plates don't give as much gold. He's still behind on CS, and Keen is just all over the map. And still even on CS somehow.
Keen is doing absolutely fantastic this game. Even Doran, you know, he can keep pushing as much as he wants, but again, like you just mentioned, turret plates, they do suck. They are only 120 gold now, and I mean, it's also so hard to really get all 5 plates nowadays that those will probably be the last plates that Doran ends up picking up unless they end up getting a Rift Herald and have it planted top lane. And so far, I mean, in this game, though, 3 kills have actually unfolded. But when you take a look at the gold score at the top, Afreeca is only riding them about 500, 600 after all the waves are consumed. So it's not like DragonX are super far behind, even though they've had some very explosive kills.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you take a look at elsewhere on the map, the mid lane and the bottom lane are winning in CS for the side of DragonX, and top lane is going even, whereas they have picked up some more plates. So we're going to take a look at the replay here. Spirit doing a fantastic job just escaping for so long.
Yeah, and I mean, they land the Cocoon onto Chovy. He got locked up for a little bit too long, and then Vel'Koz just does so much damage, and he threatens it as well. Heck, GLP picked up 4 Fly here.
Yeah.
Really nice little item.
It just feels like, you know, we were highlighting Keen's role in this game so far. He TPs to the bottom side, picks up a couple of assists. He is a key factor in picking up both of those kills. I'm not sure that they could have done it without him. And then he's in the mid lane again, and I'm sure DragonX is kind of like, oh, what's going on with this top difference? Why is the top laner everywhere? That's exactly what they'd be saying if this were a solo queue game. I guarantee it. Whereas Doran's just sitting in the top lane. Keen is literally in every single lane and in the jungle. And he was heading down here once again to help out with the dragon, whereas Doran, he's up here doing the Rift Herald. So that is going to be the Ocean Dragon Soul that will be confirmed here in this game. And Afreeca's already only 2 away from picking that up.
Yeah, I mean, it's getting... Okay, got very low, ended up being secured by DragonX. Doesn't even seem like we're going to have a fight over it. Now, they could just bring it up to top lane to try to crack the turret, get the first turret gold as well. Or Pioshik might end up just farming his wolf camp, transitioning towards bottom, picking up his red, and then trying to plant it down in bot lane to give def to all of the plates. Because this might end up just becoming a game that drags on until the next Ocean Dragon, and then we need to have an explosive fight, because if Afreeca picks that up, all of a sudden, every dragon there forward is match point Drake.
Ooh, gonna go with that Death Ray. He actually misses a bit. The Rise does put his Nikes on and run away from that one with the Phase Rush. Either way, we will have the channeling of the Rift Herald up here in the top lane. We do see Keen trying to get Doran out of this, but it is a Mordekaiser, so he is going to be able to sustain. There goes the charge. Only getting the 2 plates so far. Not sure that he can actually pick up that last one, but so far, 4 total plates in the top lane going the way of Doran alone.
Yeah.
Keep in mind that was not shared at all, so it's 120 times 4, which is 480.
Yeah, I know you're from America, Brendan.
I know.
Don't make it too obvious.
I had a little bit of brain delay there because I am from NA. I'm sorry about that, guys. It's just built into my built into my very being. Sorry about that. But either way, in all seriousness, Doran is getting a massive amount of gold in the top side, and it's showing on the gold meters up at the top side that, in fact, DragonX is exactly
they're
even
ahead
with
in
Afreeca
gold right now. Yeah, and the thing is you look at the Afreeca champions, none of them build resistances. Absolutely none of them. Now,
he's going to get the last plate,
he's going to get the last plate and the first. That's a lot of gold. This Mordekaiser he's very fed. He's a big boy. He's like, I don't even actually know what he's like. He's something. He's
something?
He's something. He's actually Arthas.
You really landed on something there.
He's
That's
the
good.
Lich King right now in this game.
Yeah, he's
That's
like the
Ice
Lich King
Crown
at
Citadel
Thanksgiving.
up there, yeah.
He's having fun. He's fed. He's strong, and that is a big boy in the top lane, thicker than Timmy Kench, and he's gonna have a fun time in this game.
Yeah, well,
for sure.
He has Proto Belt. He has Sork penetration boots. He already has a Seeker's arm guard. And we'll see what happens in the explosive team fight, because this is the part of the game where things get really scary. This is why you pick the Mordekaiser. It's for this point in the game, the mid-game transition, where champions want to start building towards their second core item. And with Mordekaiser, he basically says, do you have a Quicksilver Sash? Sort of like the IRS. He comes in and he taxes you really quickly.
Yeah.
You know?
And most of the time, the enemy team doesn't do their taxes. But there is one guy, actually, on the side of Afreeca that has done their taxes.
Yeah, he's the guy that needs it most.
It's Mystic.
Yeah. So he's an honest person right now.
Yeah.
You know, he's not trying to do any evasion right here, as he has the QSS. He's ready for the team fight. But the problem is that I really think Mordekaiser will just gun for Vel'Koz, and that'll end up being his primary Death Realm target. Alternatively, I guess the Elise can end up being a Death Realm target, even though she can go up inside of her spider web. But also, take a look at Chovy's itemization right now. He has Abyssal Mask, which is a bit interesting because Vel'Koz, I mean, yes, you get added resistances against the Vel'Koz and the Elise, but you shouldn't ever really be in range to do anything with the Vel'Koz, and if you're getting hit by him, the resistances aren't doing super much anyway. But
Yeah.
45 seconds now until Ocean Dragon, so we'll see what ends up unfolding there. By the way, interesting to note, Jarvan is Tank Jarvan this game.
Yeah.
Not AD,
I was taking
which
a
is a
look at
little
that.
scary. Because I think if he's Glass Cannon and he just bursts the Vel'Koz or bursts the Varus instantly, it makes things a lot easier.
Speaking of bursting the Varus.
All right, well, that was a
That's a gank.
Yeah, that was something.
Oh, man. I knew they were realm warping down, but then 4 of them come out. The poor Varus, man. He even flashed. He tried to get out of that. I'm like, no, man, you're dead. Doesn't matter if you have a turret. Doesn't matter if you have 2 turrets.
That was definitely a bit interesting, and this means that DragonX, they're going to be the ones to pick up Ocean Dragon. Had a little sneeze again. I'm super sorry there, Veldas.
So Keen has teleport, and again, the top tier one is not always the most. Why are they backing?
What is going on?
I don't know. That was their Drake to take. It was free. Take the Drake and then back, but it seems like they're really worried about giving up turrets instead. I mean, other than the turrets, there is no other objective on the map.
What are they rushing to right now?
Yeah. Even the Rift Herald surely is...
Do they want the Drake to force a fight? That's the only thing I can imagine, but why would you want to why would you gamble?
So the only thing I can see that they may have gained is keeping the mid-tier 1.
That's completely irrelevant, though. Mid-tier 1 at this point of the game, it's 500 gold.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying it's a good idea. I'm just like, maybe that was their thought process coming into this.
Are they just going to lose the dragon?
If they wanted to force a fight, nobody's really in position here. Jarvan is out of position. We have TP coming in now, but they've already lost position on the Drake. Let's see who Doran is going to ult here. He's getting in. He's going to find the Vel'Koz, as you mentioned. Pyosik is basically just going to die. At least, though, zoned away. Down will go the Dragon to the side of DRX as Elise not able to get in there, and Keen is going 1v2. Spirit will go down, but DRX already eating so many losses in the fight. 3 members going down, and I don't think it's going to end there. The knockup's going to come down onto the Rise, pick up that bounty as Afreeca. They don't get the Dragon, but they get a bunch of kills on top of it.
They effectively almost get an ace because they have complete freedom on the map right now. They're going to be able to fix all the waves. They're absolutely gonna get the mid-tier 1 turret here on this push here in mid lane. Top lane, fantastic. They're gonna get the Scuttle Crab as well. All of their jungle camps have come back up, so they have something to go back to and farm. And I mean, I'm just scratching my head looking at this as to why they would have valued the mid-tier 1 over just getting the Ocean Dragon and avoiding this fight entirely.
I mean, they still had TP. They used the TP on the Ocean Dragon fight. If they wanted to, they could have taken the Ocean Dragon and then TP mid, if that was really the objective. But you and I are both scratching our heads here as to why this happened. Interesting colors here.
This is looking like the Death Realm, but
I know, it does. I'm not sure if that's the reason. It's probably like some kind of replay bug.
Okay, well.
Everybody's in the Death Realm, including you and I.
Yes, we definitely are.
After seeing that call.
This is actually Lucifer Season 5, and this is our version of hell. We're watching this replay.
I'm just glad it's back to normal. I didn't want to deal with that anymore. That's, yeah, I mean, it's a questionable decision. We saw that, yes, the overall average age on the side of DRX, relatively low. It's like 19.2. I believe, as we're going to have an engage here. It looks like Braum is in a bit of trouble, really trying to lock him down alongside the Varus, but where is the damage? The stopwatch denies a bunch, and now Pyosik is going to take a bunch. He has to get away. He gets sniped from downtown by the Varus from so far away, and Keen is just a monster in the front of this fight. He zones out 2 members for so long, and he's looking to pick up a kill. He's going to stay alive with the stopwatch. This guy is playing an unbelievable game of League of Legends, and he's just going to open so much space. I'm so glad the observer zooms in on Keen. Yes, the triple kill went to the Varus, but that fight was all Keen, creating so much space for his team.
And they're going to be able to convert this now into the Baron, so this is going to be an extremely early Baron capture, and it's going to persist into the next Ocean Dragon, which means that Afreeca should finally be able to get their hands on that one and then threaten the Soul, even though this probably won't lead to the current end of the game, but their advantage right now at this point is so big. We take a look at how this all starts off. So Jarvan tries to jump in onto the Braum. They lock up the Varus, but no one can get onto him. Ryze eventually comes in, QSS, and Mystic says, hey, I have enough damage for you. Chovy eventually forced to back off. Misses some of the damage there onto the Renekton. Keen just keeps going forward. Vel'Koz.
By the way.
Yeah, by the way.
By the by.
He hit Mordekaiser with a lot of knowledge right there.
It's Bill Nye
Yeah.
in alien form right there. Oh, boy. Yeah, just over the wall. That's what Vel'Koz can do. Quietly going 3-0-1 in this game. Although, really, Keen has been the main highlight. Deft was zoned out the entire fight. And he's been zoned out the entire game, it seems, by this Renekton. You remember the bottom lane, he got TP'd on. The Dragon fight, he got flashed over the wall on. And then in that fight, he got chased through the jungle all the way through and then died underneath this turret to the Varus because the Renekton would just never, ever give him any room. And it's a beauty to see this champion played out this way and the map presence that Keen has had in this game. And if he doesn't earn MVP,
there's
I'm not going to be happy,
yeah,
Ellis, okay?
We might both actually just walk out at that point. I'm not.
We're done. I quit.
Oh, man. Well, here's the final. Well, not the final, but maybe the final way that they elect to push up as the Ocean is coming up. So maybe they'll just turn around and go to it after getting this mid-tier 2 turret.
Yeah, might as well. I feel like we were talking about the value of Ocean Soul, or just Dragon Souls in general, but especially Ocean and Infernal. I think the Ocean Soul is a much bigger objective than taking any inhibitors or even inhibitor turrets down. I feel like right now Ocean Soul is the obvious objective you want to take, other than straight up winning the game. And when they were like, oh, we can't win the game, okay, let's go back, pick up the safe objective. They're not going to pull a T1 from yesterday. They're going to say, hey, let's get the Dragon Soul as soon as possible. And, well, Doran is in a bit of trouble. Goes into the Death Realm here. Spirit is just going to avoid that very nicely and takes him down one-on-one, essentially. Has a little bit of help from the Renekton to start things off. And there you do have it. Afreeca at the end of their Baron buff, sitting on 3 Dragon buffs, 1 away from that Ocean Soul, and stacking up their lead.
Yeah, and at this point, Chovy, he's just trying to push the side lanes and try to get as much gold as he possibly can, but when you look at what items next they're striving towards, they're just so far behind in the gold department that the fact that the Varus and the Renekton are so accelerated and it's not the Vel'Koz just makes it that much harder, because no one can already get onto the Vel'Koz, and with the Renekton being as beefy as he is at this point in the game, he's a threat as well as the Varus. And so now, rather than there just being realistically 1 threat, there's suddenly 3. And this is a byproduct of initially that Ocean Dragon was the fight that really just busted things wide open. So it's looking very grim if you're a DragonX fan. They're down 6,000 gold. It's 25 minutes, but you have to wonder, well, what is Jarvan really going to pick up that changes how he conducts himself at this point going forward? He's already going to be starved for gold because he's constantly getting shoved in. He's constantly having his teammates going to be wanting to eat his jungle camp, so maybe he's looking at a Knight's Vow. So he's still quite ways away. We're maybe 8 minutes or 10 minutes or so away from a Knight's Vow. What is Ryze really going to get at this point? Void Staff isn't even likely the best for him to pick up right now. What is Xayah going to realistically think about? So things are just looking really, really bad.
Yeah, you see GA picked up here for the Renekton. He was such a menace in every single team fight, and now when he dies, he's going to come back, and he's never going to go away. There's never going to be a time, unless this game gets to like 45 minutes, and they can just blow up the Renekton and the Elise when they move into them, because by that time, Ryze is going to have 4 items. The Xayah is going to have 4.5 items. So maybe at that point, you can just say, well, if you're going to come into us, we are just going to blast you to smithereens. But as you were talking about, these item timings are extremely far away. It's not something you can just pick up here, as Pyosik is going to have to back away from that one. One-on-one in the top side. Tovi already having a little bit of fun with this Renekton, and Doran is looking to make it even more interesting as he's sitting over here just over the wall, and he will be spotted, as I believe he was spotted earlier on by that ward. Keen just backs away. No Baron just yet, but Pyosik did have to flash that cocoon to make sure he didn't die 4v3.
And it looks like they want to just...
Ooh, Keen is just getting in there at 1v2. Doran gonna deny that. He's getting into the Death Realm, and look at this, the 4-on-3 underneath the turret up in the top side. Sniping him down is going to be both Spirit and Mystic. And by the way, Jovi and Doran desperately trying to kill this Renekton, will be able to in the end, but at what cost? As a couple of kills will happen in the top side, and Afreeca should move to the Baron.
Yeah, Afreeca, it does look like they are moving over to their Dragon. Now, the issue is that both Chovy and Doran, I mean, it really just looks like something out of a cartoon. It's just Rise and Mordekaiser dual splitting with each other in 27 minutes. Oh, man.
They both wanted to go top lane, so one of them is trolling the other. That's what it looks like.
It really looks like something out of solo queue. They happen to stumble upon a kill, like Renekton. So,
but they're still yelling at each other the entire time.
So we take a look at how this all happens. Deft didn't want to just give up the top tier 2 turret, even though it would have likely ended up being a trade with the Renekton going down. Also, he lost his Guardian Angel, which is a pretty big win, but when the Jarvan ended up dying as well, the turret went down, and now Afreeca with yet again another Baron. We're going to have to see what ends up happening. Kyria setting up for maybe some guerrilla warfare tactics here. He's going to try to maybe go deep with the flank. And this is really just going to be the last stand. It also does look like Jarvan will be going into Knight's Vow. Picked up the Kindle Gem. I mean, I suppose it could go into Warmogs, but that would be way further away.
Yeah.
And yeah, here it is.
Flash there as Chains of Corruption do come out. Ocean Drake, Ocean Rift is interesting. You get this extra buff around this Drake. We'll see if DragonX, who have position on it, can use it to win this fight. Pyosik, you can see, I thought he was going to stick around and make sure that he gets in there, but he's actually going to flag and drag out and miss that as the Ocean Soul goes the way. And yes, it's a big cataclysm, but it just doesn't matter. It is a total disaster in this fight for DragonX. Doran desperately trying to take Keen out of the fight, but it kind of feels like his entire team is out of the fight as Chovy's pushing the wave. He's not even having this. He's like, I'm leaving you guys.
Chovy is just trying to drag the champions across the map, do whatever he can. Keen's going to get him with the home guard. And the Elise is here for the flank, so Chovy's going to end up going down past the Seraphs, tries to do as much as he possibly can. Oh, but they got bottom turret.
Yeah, well.
So now, if there's some sort of a miracle ace team fight, and then provided that the minion waves are okay, I guess there could be a comeback. But that's if they manage to even stay alive right here.
They might just try to end.
I think Afreeca actually can just end. With Ocean Soul, they can definitely end. Death Realm isn't available. Yeah, this game's
wow. Pyosik is just like, yeah, I'm done. Big knock-up, double grip here. But that's going to be the end. As they're just going to line him up and knock him down. Vel'Koz, his most favorite moment of the game when nobody's pressuring him. GG as 21-3 is the kill score. 10,000 gold ahead. Afreeca demolish DragonX. That was not exactly a close game after about